Alrighty, now we are going to be making the category or collection pictures for the pet park here in Prestige theme, and this is going to be very similar to what we're going to be doing on district theme as well. So if you've seen those lessons, it's going to be super similar. Now Prestige theme does favor very minimalist pictures with not a lot of text on them, so we're kind of going to follow suit in how we've been doing these banners and really leverage some of the native features that Prestige comes with that really does give it kind of a higher end feel. So what I'm going to look for is minimalist, simple images that kind of communicate this whole pet vibe that we're going for, right? And my collections are going to be dogs for one of the categories, and then also it's going to be cats, right? These are the two biggest pet categories, and then finally just all other pets, right? And that's how I've decided to structure this business. Again, this isn't a lesson on navigation. That's just how we're going to be making these collection photos. So I'm gonna look for a dog kind of sleeping in a bed to really capture that loving pet vibe. And I already like this one that I've seen right off the bat, so I'm just not going to hesitate. You know, there's thousands of pictures to browse from. I'm just go ahead and buy this one. And I'm using Adobe Stock, which comes for a free 1-month trial the moment you have the photography plan, which is also what I use for Photoshop. So it's a great stock image provider if you're going to get Photoshop anyways. And now we're just going to go ahead and open this image up into Photoshop. I want to make sure what the ideal canvas size is, right? And here Prestige tells us the collection photo should be 1120 by 1200 pixels. So we're going to go ahead and make Prestige happy because we assume that they're giving great recommendations. 1120, sorry, not 1129, 1120 by 1200. And here we are, right? And then we just simply drag the image over onto this canvas, and now we just make the necessary adjustments so that this thing is sized the right way. But I know that this is the type of minimalist, high quality image that these dog lovers just simply can't get enough of. Alrighty, and I want to make sure that I'm referencing what I know it's going to look like, right? The text and the buttons going to be on the bottom left, and I'm going to make sure this dog is kind of moved a little to the right and also a little bit bigger because I can kind of visualize what this thing is going to look like, and I think this looks pretty awesome. So why don't we just go ahead and plug this in by exporting this as a PNG. Alrighty, and we're just going to make sure that we save this in the right spot, that it's easy to access. So there it is. And then now what I'm going to do is go back to Prestige theme and plug it in. And there is a limit of 20 megapixels for your picture. So if it's way too big, all you can do is just resize it and it'll be very easy. I'm just going to make sure this thing is named in the right way so it's easy for me to access down the line. And what we're going to do now is just basically make the text adjustments so that it looks good, right? And again, this category is all about dog specific products, right? So I'm just going to call this all about dogs. And, you know, we can do view collection down here. And I'm going to toggle this overlay feature. This is a really cool feature Prestige does for you that makes things a little bit more visible. So we'll keep it right over there. And I do notice at this point that this image is a little darker than what I wanted, right? And just taking a look at how this site is running Prestige, I kind of like the kind of crisp white lighting, right? Something that's very bright. And this dog is also a little small. So now that I've had a chance to preview this, I'm just going to go in and make my final adjustments, right? I want to make sure that this thing can basically be visible without necessarily using the Prestige built-in overlay. And I also want to make this dog a little bit bigger. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do this. Perfect. And now I think this is exactly what we're going to be looking for. So it's always good to make these adjustments and iterations as soon as you can preview them. And what I'm going to do is add in another layer, right? The mask layer. And then this is basically using the gradient tool. We're going to make this little vignette. So that looks absolutely perfect. All right. So I'm going to save this and let's just see kind of the world of difference that this thing is going to make once we plug this new banner in that's adjusted. And there it is, right? The text is a lot more visible because we added in that vignette on the bottom, and also this dog is just a lot bigger. I think this collection photo is looking great, and what we're going to do is now make one for cats. And here we are in Adobe Stock, and I'm going to be looking for a cat photo where the cat is actually interacting with a potential product that we're going to be selling on this store. So I'm kind of looking at scratching posts, and here it is, right? I found a perfect image of a cat that is going to work just fine. And again, spend your time and look for the perfect image until you fall in love with it. But I'm just going to be efficient. I think this one works just fine, and it fits the vibe that we're going for, which is kind of featuring these cute animals interacting with the type of products that we're going to be selling, right? So now I'm just going to make this adjustment, and notice how I copy and pasted this thing right above the previous category photo that we made together. That's just a really easy way to be efficient so we don't spend all day doing remedial work that doesn't have to be done again, right? We already optimized the canvas. We already made all these layers. Why not just borrow from work we've already done? And that helps with this consistency. So, of course, we're going to have this vignette kind of gradient going like we did for the other one. So I'm moving just the same one we used last time and just move the layer above. And here we are. We're done with this cat image now, right? So that was super easy. Once you make one category photo, it should be really easy to make all of the other ones. And we're just going to plug it in and see what this thing looks like. So let's put it in here, upload. Super excited to see how this one is going to look. So that's kind of where it is. And oh, I forgot to export it as a PNG. So what we're going to do is now wait for this thing to load, and there it is. I think this looks really awesome. We obviously have to change the text around, but I think it's right on trend, right? And I got rid of that overlay on image selection, so it's not too dark, right? We kind of made our own overlay with the vignette tool. And now what I'm going to do is make sure that everything is set the right way. Yep, that's a new image that we cooked up. And we're going to standardize the text, right? So this one is all about dogs, and it goes straight to view collection. So we're going to be doing the same for the cats, all right? So that means that we don't need that subheading over there. And we're going to be changing the heading for the cats one to all about cats. Whoops, nope, I don't need it in the subheading. I need it in the heading. Perfect. And the button text is just going to be view collection. And we obviously have to make sure that this button is linking into the collection that we've made just for the cat products. I haven't fully sourced the store out yet. This was just kind of a design series of lessons for Prestige Theme. And now what you're going to be doing is actually making sure it links up. But let's go ahead and create the category photo for all of the other pets that we have in mind. And I'm just going to use kind of like a fish to represent the other pets. So I've gone ahead and searched fish tank in home. And I actually really like this image, right? I think like a goldfish is a very classic example of all the other different types of pets you can have, and it's probably a very popular one. So how I made my decision is that I assume out of all the non-conventional pets out there, goldfish are probably the most common, just because they're pretty cheap, and a lot of people just kind of use them as a starter pet. But there's obviously a lot of different images that we can choose from. And what I'm trying to make sure of is that whatever image we pick, it kind of fits the vibe that we've already created on this site, right? So we don't want to use like some random crazy tank that doesn't feel like it was all part of the same shoot, right? We want that consistency that big brands have. So this one I think looks pretty awesome. And you can always see once you click on one image kind of like other recommended ones. So this one is pretty great as well, right? It kind of fits that clean white light kind of vibe that we've been going for. And I could browse all day until I find the perfect fit, but I think I'm just going to go with this one right over here, right? So I'm going to make sure I buy this license, and it's only going to be $3, right? So great ROI. If this banner works out and it boosts our conversion rate, what better way is there to spend $3 in this lifetime, right? So now we're just gonna have to pull up that image over onto Photoshop while it's downloading, and I'm gonna put it in this folder where I've kind of put everything, and drag it in. So there it is, right? And we're gonna obviously copy and paste this layer over in order to leverage the work that we just did, right? Make this a very easy and intuitive process. Alrighty, I'm just adjusting the layers. Perfect. So that is awesome. We're gonna move that vignette layer up to the top so this thing benefits from the work that we've done. and we don't have to use that, overlay layer on prestige theme natively anymore, which we've already found out kind of makes our things a little bit dark, right? So now what I'm gonna do is make this brightness on contrast a little bit different. I did that by pressing that yin yang sign. Because this is still underneath the vignette layer, the vignette is still applying on the bottom, right? So I hope you noticed that this image was on the darker end, which is why we had to make that adjustment. And I also want to make this thing more pronounced, right? I can kind of visualize where the text is gonna go and everything, and I want to make sure that this is oriented in the right way. Perfect. Remember that text is going on to the bottom left alongside a button. All right, so this is looking great. I'm going to export this as a PNG, all right? And then we're just going to be plugging this into Prestige theme to see how it fits with its other friends, the cats and the dogs. All righty, so we're going to go ahead and select the image and put it right over here. Perfect. And we're going to want to get rid of the same settings that we got rid of last time, and also give it the standardized text. So all other pets, right? And then we're going to do the view collection button, and we're also going to be changing the apply overlay so it's brighter and perfect. I think that this is a great suite of category photos, and it's fitting the whole upper scale vibe that we're achieving with Prestige theme.